The 8-colored Buddha's Fury Lotus. Just imagine it. But what forced Xiao Yan to resort to such an extreme measure? And where did he obtain so many different heavenly flames when he only possessed 6 types? It all began with the Han clan's assault on the Yao clan. Their goal was nothing less than total annihilation. Han Jing and Han Yan arrived at the Yao clan. They were 2 of the 4 saint demons of the Han clan, both at the peak of 7-star saint. Their very presence demonstrated just how seriously the Han clan regarded the destruction of the Yao clan. One of the elders declared that the Yao clan's alchemy skills could still be useful to the Han clan. If the Yao clan agreed to become a subordinate clan of the Han clan, they would be allowed to preserve their bloodline. The offer was immediately rejected. After that, countless Han clan experts moved simultaneously. Vast waves of Do Qi erupted from every direction and crashed downward. However, the moment the enemies closed in, the bodies of the Yao clan elders suddenly shone with dazzling light. Immediately afterward, a terrifying energy exploded across the sky. Several Han clan experts caught in the blast instantly spat out blood and were thrown backward. However, Han Huzi, the very alchemist of the Han clan who had secretly brought the Annihilates devouring flame with him, personally stepped forward. Black flames erupted around him as he single-handedly drew the clan head, Elder Yao Wanhua, and the others into a brutal battle. Yao Dan rose into the sky, and a terrifying 7-star saint aura erupted from his body. The pressure he emitted was even stronger than Han Huzi's, clearly demonstrating the strength of the Yao clan leader. At this moment, the leaders and elders of the other factions who had come to the ceremony began pleading for mercy. They understood that if they remained here, they would meet the same fate as the Ling and Shi clans. Han Huzi merely smiled and declared that anyone who did not belong to the Yao clan was free to leave. Those words immediately brought relief. People quickly turned around and rushed toward the exit of the Yao realm at full speed. Watching this scene, Xiao Yan frowned. He knew the Han clan far too well and understood that they were not the type to leave witnesses alive. And indeed, the moment this thought crossed his mind, countless black lights erupted on the horizon. Immediately afterward, heart-wrenching screams echoed through the sky. Black flames began seeping out from the void, rapidly spreading in all directions. In the blink of an eye, the entire realm was shrouded in darkness. Xiao Yan's eyes narrowed sharply as he recognized the flames. This was the genuine Annihilates devouring flame. Even Little E became unusually serious, clearly sensing the threat emanating from it. Han Huzi hovered in the sky, with monstrous black flames raging behind him. Slowly spreading his arms, he looked at Yao Dan with a cold smile. Yao Dan, it is my honor to inform you that the Yao clan is finished. The black flames completely swallowed the sunlight, covering the entire realm beneath their gloomy veil. Everyone's Do Qi began to slowly disappear. The entire space was filled with countless tiny clusters of black flames, invisible to the naked eye. These clusters settled onto people's bodies like larvae, burrowed into their bones, and began devouring their Do Qi. Even Do Qi defenses were completely ineffective, as the black flames merged with them and destroyed them from the inside. Yao Lao solemnly remarked that the realm had been completely sealed. Clearly, the Han clan had no intention of leaving anyone alive. Xiao Yan frowned and realized that the Han clan had finally begun to act. They had fallen directly into a trap. Even if someone had anticipated an attack, no one could have predicted the exact moment when it would occur, when nothing could be changed anymore. Yao Lao bitterly admitted that the Han clan had likely been preparing for this for a very long time, concealing their intentions ever since the disappearance of the Shi clan. He had never expected that even the alliance of the Yao, Yan, and Lei clans would be unable to stop their plans. It now became clear why the Han clan had not intervened earlier, even when the Heavenly Mansion Alliance had weakened the Hall of Souls. They had simply been preparing for a far more important objective, the destruction of the Yao clan. Compared to this, even eliminating Xiao Yan was not their highest priority. Watching this tragedy unfold, Xiao Yan unconsciously clenched his fists. He now clearly understood what a true war of clan extermination meant. In order to preserve their bloodline, people willingly gave up their own lives. Fury toward the Han clan blazed within Xiao Yan's eyes. Meanwhile, clan head Yao Dan saw that even Elder Wanhua had been suppressed. He quickly scanned the battlefield before fixing his gaze on Xiao Yan. With a wave of his hand, He brought more than a dozen young members of the Yao clan to Xiao Yan's side, the finest representatives of the younger generation who had distinguished themselves during the ceremony. With bloodshot eyes, Yao Dan looked at Xiao Yan and, for the first time in his life, asked someone for help. The Yao clan experts were preparing to sacrifice themselves to open an escape route, and he begged Xiao Yan to preserve the clan's bloodline. Those words struck Xiao Yan heavily. No matter what had happened, Yao Dan remained a worthy clan head. Even now, he was not thinking about himself, but about the future of his people. Xiao Yan let out a heavy sigh and promised that he would do everything in his power. After that, Yao Dan prepared to personally hold back the two Han clan demons, Han Jing and Han Yen, both 7-star saints, while the other elders shattered the surrounding space. Xiao Yan immediately released his pink flame and formed a protective barrier around the group. Together with Yao Lao, Yao Tian, Yao Lin, and the others, he rushed toward the shattered space at maximum speed. Terrifying explosions continued to echo everywhere. However, the Han clan quickly changed targets and charged directly toward Xiao Yan's group, attempting to completely cut off their escape route. At the critical moment, Elder Shin Nong attacked. He was the very Yao clan expert who possessed the 5th-ranked heavenly flame. A vast green sea of flames spread in every direction, transforming into countless gigantic trees that wrapped around the enemies like enormous vines. This allowed Xiao Yan's group to increase their speed once again. But Han Huzi immediately ordered the Annihilates devouring flame to stop Xiao Yan because he also possessed the ancient god Tu Shi Jade. The Annihilates devouring flame was occupied. Therefore, Han Yen personally made his move. His speed was terrifying. Within only a few breaths, he had already appeared before Xiao Yan's group, completely blocking the path to the shattered seal. At this moment, Xiao Yan had no choice but to unleash his strongest technique, the Annihilation Lotus. 6 different heavenly flames began merging within his palm, forming the Annihilation Flame Lotus. The moment the lotus was completed, Xiao Yan threw it at Han Yen without hesitation. In the next instant, a horrifying explosion shook the heavens. A storm of destructive flames swept across the entire space, annihilating everything in its path. However, even such an attack barely managed to injure Han Yen. Although his aura became slightly unstable, he still emerged from the sea of flames almost completely unharmed. The power of a peak 7-star saint was truly monstrous. At that moment, Xiao Yan suddenly made a new decision. He asked Elder Shin Nong and Yao Tian to lend him their heavenly flames. Although surprised, both immediately agreed. Elder Shin Nong transmitted his heavenly flame through his staff, while Yao Tian released the Earth Turtle Flame. The Life Spirit Flame, ranked 5th, and the Earth Turtle Flame, ranked 13th, quickly transformed into 2 differently colored flames within Xiao Yan's hands. He could feel a slight resistance coming from them. After all, both heavenly flames already had their own masters. At that moment, Xiao Yi came to his aid. Thanks to his complete fusion with Little E, he temporarily gained the ability to use heavenly flames that belonged to others. Now he possessed not 6, but 8 different heavenly flames, his own 6, along with 2 borrowed from the Yao clan. The merging flames released a deep rumble after absorbing these 2 additional heavenly flames. Xiao Yan's expression became grim as he sensed the changes occurring within the flames. Although he currently possessed the heavenly flame spirit, Little E, he still knew very little about these 2 heavenly flames. Naturally, he encountered tremendous difficulty while trying to merge them. But if he could successfully combine all 8 into a single flame lotus, an unprecedented 8-colored Annihilation Flame Lotus would be born. Its power would become truly terrifying. The might of a flame lotus formed from 8 different heavenly flames truly possessed the ability to destroy the world. The Han clan 7-star saint immediately sensed these frightening fluctuations. His eyes became fixed on the 8-colored flames within Xiao Yan's hands. Even his eyelids twitched involuntarily. Even he could sense the danger contained within that power. This fellow is truly extraordinary. He's only a 5-star saint, yet he's capable of unleashing such a terrifying attack. The flame lotus shone brilliantly. Countless pillars of light containing the power of annihilation burst forth. They shot out from the flame lotus. Anyone struck by those rays would be reduced to ashes almost instantly. The 7-star expert Han Yen was hit first. His body was pierced straight through. However, at that moment, he did not turn into dust. Monstrous Do Qi continued pouring out from his body, desperately trying to block the erosion caused by the power of annihilation. However, the flame lotus fused from 8 different heavenly flames was anything but ordinary. The brilliant light filling the sky resembled a blazing sun. Its piercing radiance engulfed the entire Yao realm. An indescribable force of annihilation swept across the heavens. It seemed as though the entire realm was on the verge of collapsing. Xiao Yan grabbed Yao Lao and the others as their bodies were blasted backward. At the same time, the purifying demonic lotus flame formed a gigantic wall of fire in front of them. Only then was the group able to withstand the attack. But just how powerful was the explosion of the 8-colored flame lotus? Was it enough to injure a peak 7-star saint? The destructive force raged for quite some time before finally beginning to subside. Then, a black figure started falling from the sky. The 7-star Hun clan expert crashed violently into the ground, creating an enormous crater. Xiao Yan watched closely. He could vaguely see Hun Yan's injuries. Black vapor continuously rose from his body. It appeared that his physical body had suffered severe damage, while his aura had become far weaker than before. It was obvious that he had at least been seriously wounded. Elder Shen Nong let out a deep breath. He stared at the scene before him in complete shock. It was difficult for him to believe that Xiao Yan had actually managed to injure a peak 7-star saint to such an extent. Unfortunately, there was still the second expert, as well as the Annihilates devouring flame itself. The indescribable force of annihilation swept across the entire sky. The mountain range below, which had already been filled with countless craters, was now drenched in a deep red hue. The terrifyingly high temperature melted the entire mountain range. Xiao Yan grabbed Yao Lao and the others. Their bodies were thrown backward as the purifying demonic lotus flame formed a massive flaming barrier in front of them. Only then did the group manage to defend against this attack. Clan head Yao Dan shouted loudly, "Hurry and leave! The space there has already been torn apart by the residual force." Xiao Yan's face turned pale. The sharp, piercing pain transmitted from his chest caused his entire body to tremble. He waved his hand and threw the life spirit flame and the earth turtle spirit flame toward Elder Shen Nong and Yao Tian, while shouting in an anxious voice. His own condition was also extremely terrible. The exhaustion from creating the 8-colored flame lotus was far more terrifying than he had imagined. Even with his current strength, he could only use it once. Moreover, he had become heavily weakened. A weakened person had almost no chance of survival in this situation, where hidden dangers lurked everywhere. Only after hearing Xiao Yan's words did everyone realize that the ripples from the annihilation force were actually tearing apart the realm itself and forming spatial cracks dozens of feet wide. They immediately focused all their attention on them. Faster! Xiao Yan took out a jade bottle from his storage ring. He poured the medicinal liquid from it onto the wounds on his chest and shouted once again. Taking the initiative, he unfurled his bone wings and rushed toward the spatial crack at lightning speed. This was the best opportunity to escape. If you want to see more videos about Battle Through the Heavens, your support through a like and a comment is truly invaluable. See you in the next video.